Hi friends, today I wanted to talk to you about vitamin D. We know that the main source is sunlight. Through nutrition, we get very little vitamin D from our diet. This is why we should sunbathe from time to time, so that the ultraviolet rays can come into contact with cholesterol molecules through the skin. Once they have come into contact with cholesterol molecules, all of this goes directly to the liver, where we manufacture provitamin D, and from the liver to the kidney is where we would finish producing vitamin D, which is the one that has a direct and therapeutic action in humans. We've also mentioned many times that vitamin D is a pleiotropic vitamin, which means it interacts with all the tissues in our body and can improve our mental health, brain health, muscle health, digestive health, and even metabolic health. That's why it's so important to have good levels of vitamin D. And to know if we have those good levels or not, we should get blood tests at least once a year or twice a year so we can see what our vitamin D levels are. That's why it's important to have good levels of vitamin D. And to know if we have those good levels or not, we should get blood tests at least once a year or twice a year so we can see what our vitamin D levels are. There's a lot of controversy right now about what the most appropriate levels are. Most medical authors I've consulted usually say that the ideal range for health is between 40 to 60 or 70 nanograms per milliliter. If our vitamin D levels are below 30, this can lead to problems like osteoporosis, mental and brain health issues, and also problems related to depression. Notice that vitamin D interacts with a type of receptors in the brain and in the intestines, which are the TPH receptors in the brain and TPH receptors in the intestines. So, when tryptophan comes in, remember that tryptophan is the amino acid precursor to serotonin. In other words, serotonin is the neuropeptide or neurotransmitter of happiness. To produce serotonin, we need a precursor amino acid, which is tryptophan, and we usually get it from the proteins we consume daily. So, once tryptophan has crossed the blood-brain barrier and the intestinal barrier, you need vitamin D to be present as a cofactor, because in the presence of vitamin D, the tryptophan gets converted into serotonin, and when we have good serotonin levels, we can also produce an adequate amount of melatonin, which is the neuropeptide or neurotransmitter that helps us have relaxed and pleasant sleep. Well, you see, vitamin D is preventive against Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Vitamin D is a molecule. It's an essential vitamin that also significantly helps in preventing depressive disorders, and it's also very important for muscle function. Everyone knows that vitamin D is super important for our bones, for bone metabolism, but it also helps prevent colon cancer, prostate cancer in men, and breast cancer in women. Many women have the positive gene for breast cancer, and this gene can either be expressed or not. With good levels of vitamin D, we can stop the genetic expression of the gene that produces breast cancer. Just look at the importance of this great Vita hormone, because on one hand, it acts like a vitamin, and on the other hand, it acts like a hormone. That's why we always recommend taking about 4,000 international units daily in the fall and winter and in spring. And keep in mind, for women who are already in menopause, it's also important to provide vitamin D along with vitamin K, because vitamin D absorbs calcium from the intestines, hands it over to vitamin K, and then vitamin K delivers it to osteocalcin. Osteocalcin then transfers it to a Gla matrix in the bone and deposits the calcium in the bone. And we need the synergistic association between vitamin D and vitamin K.